Hi, I'm Willow Bradner, the Accidental Psychic, and I am taking over Nurture's Mindful Monday. Enjoy!
Oh, don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. I said
We talk a lot about mindfulness, but I think the spiritual community is really getting it wrong because the word is wrong. Mindful is like, yeah, I'm there. I'm mind fucked 90% of the time. I'm so fucking full, I couldn't get mindless if I tried. And I think ultimately what we're all trying to achieve here in the mindfulness banter is how to discover mindlessness. Like, I want less of the noise and less of the overwhelm and less of the constant need to strive and control and to create and to do and be and all the things, right? I'm sure you relate to this so much. So I wanted to talk today, and I want to share a really special story, but I want to kind of pare down what overwhelm is on an intuitive and psychic level. Overwhelm is really three things. Number one is it is fast forwarding into the future. So we've all had this moment wherein we've had a meeting or a big event show up and our brains go way down the line, down the future to the next day, into the next 24-hour cycle. And we get so pent up that we lose a night of sleep because we're trying to already get to the future and figure out all the problems that might be there, perceive it all ahead of schedule, and remove it. So right now, based in the world that we're in, we are all in this overdrive because we don't know what's coming. We can't see around this really wild bend. And so the overwhelm is really lifting up right now. And it's choking a lot of us. I've seen a lot of eye injuries because everybody's looking so far into the future and trying to see through it. So future is number one overwhelm because it's the absence of presence. And it's out of distrust of the moment we're in that we go trying to speed forward into the future. So that's number one. Number two, overwhelm, is trying to control everything. That's something else that we've lost in this moment is we are not in control. What we imagined or assumed to be the outcomes that we were after have now dissolved and or changed. And in control, and especially in these moments, is controlling other people, controlling other people's behaviors, controlling the level of cleanliness in your house, controlling the outcome, creating expectations that you then get to control. And control, again, is the absence of trust. It's the absence of trust. That's why we're in control, because we don't trust that anybody else can do it good enough or the way you'd like to get it done. We don't trust that if we're not in control and manipulating the outcome, that it will be the way that we want it to be. So we move out of trust in that, and that creates a high level of overwhelm, especially right now when you can't control the outcome. And then the third one is also an absence of trust, but it's also just an absence of try, and it's called avoidance. And avoidance is one of the biggest overwhelming pieces that I notice as a block in a lot of people, wherein you've decided you're going to avoid what is happening in the world, avoid what you could be doing to move and create action in your life. You're going to avoid doing anything that brings you pleasure. You're going to avoid anything that would bring you pain. And essentially you just cocoon and play possum and pray that it'll just get over with. But there's so much overwhelm in avoidance because you're not in control and you're not able to see in front of you, and you just are using so much energy to hide. Okay, so those are the 3 points of overwhelm. And at any given point, we are all, by the way, we all play in the pools of this. No one is perfect, not even me as a psychic. I still play in some of these too because I'm human. And the human experience wants to see what's coming. We want to know that we can create an outcome. We want to know that we can hide when we need to. All of that's okay. But this is the story I want to tell today because I think that this one might be the most poignant for where we are in the world and how it might serve and solve for you as well. So about 4 years ago, my daughter was 3 at the time, and she and I'm putting her to bed, and she bursts into tears. And she says to me, "Mama, I don't want you to die." And such conviction in this, is I don't want you to die. And she's just crying, and there's no controlling the tears that are coming out of her. And I'm trying to rationally speak to a 3-year-old at the time and explain and express to her that it's going to be okay. I don't intend to die. Though being a psychic, I'm not gonna lie, I did kind of look at her and ask, like, do you know something I don't know? But nonetheless, I went back into her emotional space as she was asking me this question. I don't want you to die. I don't want to lose you. And it really wasn't a question as much as it was this unfounded fear that rose inside of her. And it might not be your fear at this very moment, this idea of loss, but we are all in grief right now. We are all experiencing this out of control vibe and not really knowing what to do with it. And so with this idea of loss, I looked at her with this idea that I could and likely will die before her at some point in the inevitable future. That will happen. But as she's sitting there at 3 years old, what can I say? What can I do? What can I create to comfort her? And what I realize is that this overwhelming feeling that's happening to her is her moving so far into the future and feeling the grief and the loss of me. It's not a projection of today, it's a projection of how she is going to feel when that day happens. So I take a pause and I take a deep breath. And as I breathe out, I say to her, baby, we don't know when, and we frankly don't know how I'm going to die. It will eventually happen. But what we know right now and what we have right now in this moment is each other. And we can't go moving far into the future and wondering how or what and getting really fucked up about that, because it's not going to serve us. It's not going to create anything out of us energetically. But what we do have, what is in our control, what does create energy, what is powerful, is to love each other fiercely in this moment. That's what we all have right now, you guys. We have the ability and the control to love each other fiercely in this moment. I pulled her into me, pulled her into my chest, and I held her. And my hand brushed over her hair. And I whispered into her ear, I love you. I love you. I love you. And we sat there and held each other fiercely and loved each other fiercely. And I listened to the sound of her breath. And in that moment, we were both present, energized, and in control. And all the overwhelm that she felt started to disappear. So in this moment, in this mindful moment that we are creating here, what I ask is that you look around your room, your home, your house, and I want you to start taking a good look at what you have. What you have, not what's missing, not what's scary, but what you have in this moment. How many friends? Who's in your family? Who's in your tribe? Is there a roof right now? In this moment, is there a roof? Right now, in this moment, is there enough food on your shelves? right now, in this moment, can you honestly say you are loved? In this moment, right now, can you breathe? This is what's in our control. And we don't have to worry about what's coming or what it's going to look like or feel like. We don't have to worry. If we're in the moment, if we're in the present moment. And when you find yourself fast forwarding and you find yourself feeling that scarcity and that fear and the oh no's and the what ifs, come back right here and begin to love fiercely in that moment and take account and retake the stock of everything that you have in this moment and fill it with gratitude, fill it with love, make all the phone calls, send out all the love and text messages you can imagine so that you can share and show that fierce presence of love in that moment. Do not miss the moment to love. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this landed deeply inside of you. I'm really thrilled and hopeful to get to know you as well. So please do subscribe to willowbradner.com. One, you get the most amazing freebie out of me. It is my Activation Intuition Masterclass and meditation. It will rock and change your lives. I promise you that. But as well, while you're subscribing, please check out and see if it feels like time for you to come in and do a one-to-one psychic medium reading. Or if you want to go a little bit further, if you're an entrepreneur, I do psychic business strategy sessions. And business is my true jam in life, using this intuitive aspect of my abilities for that so that I can help you become the change maker, the impact maker, and the thought leader that I know that you are here to be on planet Earth. So lots of love, you guys. Thank you again for tuning in. Peace in.